Shawn Pomrenke has just pulled off one of the boldest gold strikes in Arctic history, deep in the icy, unforgiving waters of the Bering Sea. Alongside his crew, he's confirmed an astonishing $150 million gold haul, enough to smash every previous record for Arctic gold mining. This wasn't a lucky break. It was the result of calculated risk, relentless planning, and sheer audacity. Months of brutal dives, reinforced dredging operations, and constant battles with shifting ice led the team to massive veins of high-purity gold, hidden beneath thick layers of sediment and frozen currents. While competitors scrambled, storms intensified, and equipment was pushed to its breaking point, Pomrenke's crew delivered. This haul is historic. The scale is unprecedented. And the story, one of survival, strategy, and raw determination, is already making headlines around the world. What Shawn just accomplished is redefining Arctic mining, and the Bering Sea will never be the same. Before we break down how Shawn Pomrenke pulled off this $150 million deal strike in the Bering Sea, make sure to like and subscribe. You won't want to miss a second of this historic discovery. The cold hits like a wall as Pomrenke's vessel cuts through the frozen expanse of the Bering Sea. The horizon stretches out in jagged lines of ice and cloud, deceptively calm, masking treacherous waters and the promise of unimaginable wealth below. Shawn isn't chasing easy ground. Rumors of high-yield gold deposits drew him into territory most wouldn't dare to explore. Satellite imagery had revealed strange formations beneath the surface, ancient riverbeds buried under centuries of silt, sediment, and ice. Patterns invisible to most, but obvious to trained eyes. Every creak of the ship and groan of the dredging machinery feels louder in the sub-zero silence. Crew members huddle against the cold, gloves stiff and frozen, breath hanging in the air as their eyes constantly shift between instruments and the horizon. One wrong move could mean frostbite, catastrophic equipment failure, or worse. Shawn moves across the deck like a conductor guiding controlled chaos, a steady presence in brutal conditions. His reputation is well known, bold, fearless, and sometimes bordering on reckless. Critics had already claimed this strike was impossible, insisting no one could pull gold from these Arctic waters. Shawn doesn't listen to critics. He listens to sonar, satellite data, and the subtle vibrations of machinery. Modified dredges, hydraulic systems, and high-powered sonar scanners hum in unison, all primed for what could be the find of a lifetime. As the vessel pushes farther north, ice flows shift without warning, slamming into the hull and threatening to trap both crew and equipment. The Bering Sea is a constantly changing battlefield, reshaping itself hour by hour. Shawn personally oversees sonar calibration, kneeling in freezing spray and refusing to rely solely on automation. Every tremor in the seabed is examined, every echo analyzed for signs of hidden gold. Crew morale swings wildly, surging with excitement at the possibility of discovery, crashing under the weight of exhaustion and extreme cold, and spiking with fear when sudden storms force rapid course changes. Then comes the moment every miner dreads: a mechanical failure on the lead extraction vessel. Metal groans under strain, sounding as though the rig might tear itself apart. Hearts pound. Hands race across control panels. Improvisation becomes survival. Shawn takes command, directing, fixing, and adapting in real time, proving yet again why he's the leader people trust when conditions turn impossible. Every second lost to ice, cold, or malfunction is a second someone else could seize the prize. But here, in the heart of the Arctic, Shawn Pomrenke holds his ground. A true master of both people and machines, Shawn watches as the first real sign appears on the sonar screen. Strange clusters pulse beneath thick layers of sediment, tiny golden signals flickering like beacons in the icy darkness. Shawn orders a series of small, carefully planned dredge tests. The crew moves with disciplined precision, adrenaline held in check, lifting samples from the seabed. Flecks of gold shimmer in the freezing water. It's enough to quiet the doubters and make even the skeptics glance uneasily toward the northern horizon. Excitement ripples across the deck, a mix of disbelief and cautious optimism. But Shawn cuts through the celebration with calm authority. This is only a preview. The real prize is still out there. In Arctic mining, success isn't measured in fragments, but in massive veins of pure, extractable gold. Pressure mounts as stories of past failures resurface. Whispers of frozen rigs left behind, gold abandoned to the ice, and crews forced back by nature's unforgiving grip. Every person on deck feels the weight of history, expectation, and the possibility that this discovery could change Arctic mining forever. The cold remains relentless. The ice refuses to give way. But now there is proof, real, undeniable proof, that fortune favors the bold. Gold flickers through silt and sediment, enough to turn the impossible into something tangible. The hunt, the obstacles, and this first glimpse of success merge into a steady, driving force pushing the crew forward. Eyes stay locked on the horizon. Hearts race with what comes next. Shawn's crew works with razor-sharp focus, balancing on the edge between triumph and disaster. Each dredge test brings them closer to confirming just how massive the find may be. Every scoop, every glint of gold becomes more than a discovery. It becomes validation of the vision that brought them here, proof that the risks were worth it. The air is thick with frost and anticipation, the kind that numbs fingers and synchronizes pounding hearts. The Bering Sea never surrenders its secrets easily, and everyone knows it. But the sight of gold beneath the icy water transforms fear into resolve. Shawn remains steady, mapping potential veins, calculating the next move, and ensuring every extraction method maximizes yield while minimizing exposure to the sea's fury. The balance between caution and boldness is razor thin. One mistake could wipe out weeks of progress. Yet every successful pull, every fragment of gold brought to the surface raises the stakes and fuels both ambition and obsession. As the vessel pushes deeper into the frozen Bering Sea, the crew can feel history unfolding around them. Sonar echoes and sediment data suggest something enormous lurking below, though the main vein remains hidden, a tantalizing promise buried beneath layers of ice and silt. With every dredge test and every shift, anticipation sharpens. The rhythm of extraction, paired with the constant battle against freezing temperatures and shifting ice, creates a relentless momentum. Then, after hours of precise drilling and tense calculations, the breakthrough finally comes. Deep sea drills tear through the sediment, and the readings leave no doubt. A massive gold vein lies beneath the Bering Sea, far larger than anything they had imagined. Shawn guides the vessel with instinct and experience, navigating dangerous currents to position the dredges directly over the richest zones. Adrenaline surges through the crew. Frostbite and exhaustion fade into the background as Shawn reminds them this is only the beginning. The real, record-breaking extraction is just getting underway. Reinforced dredging platforms rise from the deck, engineered to withstand Arctic storms, sub-zero winds, and the crushing pressures waiting beneath the waves. Shawn personally oversees every calibration, leaning over frozen steel and hydraulic systems, his gloves crusted with ice. His movements are steady and exact, almost surgical. One wrong adjustment could collapse the entire operation, burying both machinery and millions in gold beneath tons of frozen silt. Early samples are brought up with extreme care, revealing gold of remarkable purity. Speculation spreads quickly. This may be more than a natural deposit. It could be an ancient underwater placer, shaped by centuries of glacial movement, or even remnants of long-lost trade ships, their cargo concentrated into a hidden trench beneath the Bering Sea. As the implications sink in, the scale of the operation expands dramatically. Supply routes stretch across icy waters as icebreakers and transport vessels ferry equipment non-stop. Coordinating multiple vessels becomes a precise, almost military operation. Every crew member has a defined role. Every movement is practiced, repeated, and refined. The pace of extraction grows more intense by the hour. Shawn's hands-on leadership becomes the backbone of the mission, as inspiration and tension blend while he directs the dangerous choreography of men, machines, and ice. Beyond the operation, the world begins to take notice. Word leaks to rival mining companies, and the sea feels charged, like the calm before a storm. Competitors linger at a distance, tracking coordinates and trying to predict Shawn's next move. The crew works in punishing 24-hour rotations, eyes locked on sonar screens and shifting ice, hands never straying from critical controls. Everyone knows that a single mistake could cost them access to one of the richest gold veins ever found. In response, Shawn implements countermeasures. Dredges are repositioned under cover of darkness. Sonar signatures are masked. Extraction zones rotate like pieces on a chessboard. The Bering Sea becomes a stage for stealth, strategy, and survival. Media coverage magnifies every rumor and leaked image, fueling online speculation that this haul could surpass anything ever recorded in Arctic mining history. Despite the growing frenzy, Shawn remains intensely focused, balancing ambition with restraint. Every drill, every dredge pull, every recovered nugget is carefully measured and logged. The goal is to maximize the haul without surrendering control to the sea or to rivals. Shifting tides and unpredictable currents force constant tactical adjustments. Massive dredges sway against icy surges. Crew members brace themselves as hydraulics strain under repeated lifts. Shawn's commands come fast and precise. Small wins add up. Each successful extraction builds confidence, but the risks grow with every hour. Even a minor mechanical failure could undo weeks of progress or lock entire sections beneath the ice. Fatigue gnaws at the crew, but adrenaline, anticipation, and the unmistakable sight of high-purity gold keep them operating at peak focus. Communication never stops. Scanners relay sediment density, sonar outlines vein structures, and Shawn directs real-time adjustments as conditions change. Every nugget brought to the surface is proof of both skill and boldness. Each flash of gold confirms that extreme risk can deliver extraordinary reward. Night falls, but the operation doesn't slow. Arctic darkness blankets the sea, and beneath the faint glow of the aurora, dredges glide silently into new positions. Shawn's strategy of nighttime relocation and zone rotation limits detection, while keeping extraction paths optimal. Crew members move across icy decks in near-total darkness, balancing heavy machinery and personal safety with unwavering focus. The tension is electric, a blend of danger, discovery, and defiance against an environment as brutal as it is generous. Small glimmers of gold trapped in dredge nets briefly light up the dark water, a nearly mystical reward for those bold enough to challenge the frozen sea. Shawn's decisions set the tempo of the entire operation: when to push forward, when to pull back, when to take risks, and when to protect what they've gained. Every hour becomes a race against nature, against rivals, and against the limits of human endurance. The Bering Sea pushes back relentlessly with shattered ice, violent waves, hidden shoals, and the constant threat of structural failure. Yet with every obstacle overcome, the team's resolve hardens. Continued extractions confirm the exceptional quality of the gold. Purity levels fuel growing speculation about ancient deposits, and Shawn's meticulous records ensure every nugget's origin is carefully documented. This is not chance, it's preparation, bold decision-making, and flawless execution meeting opportunity in the harshest environment imaginable. Media outlets scramble for updates as online forums explode with rumors and theories. Inside the operation, however, the rhythm remains unchanged. Measure, extract, relocate, repeat. What's unfolding is becoming legendary in real time. A fusion of human endurance, mechanical innovation, and strategic mastery in one of the most unforgiving places on Earth. The discovery of the breakthrough vein, combined with reinforced platforms and constant countermeasures, creates unstoppable momentum. Crew morale surges, tempered by the awareness that a single mistake could erase weeks of progress. Shawn walks the deck, surveying both men and machines like a conductor directing Arctic chaos. Sonar pings echo through frozen fog as dredges lift shimmering fragments, and the magnitude of the discovery finally begins to sink in. The gold is massive, unprecedented for the region, and still only partially exposed. Every decision, from dredging schedules to zone rotation, blends instinct with years of hard-earned experience. Ice, storms, and shifting currents remain constant threats, but the combined ingenuity of man and machine keeps the operation moving forward. Each fragment brought to the surface stands as proof of daring, precision, and persistence. Then the confirmation hits. The first reports ripple through the Arctic mining world like a thunderclap. An $85 million haul, enough to cement Shawn Pomrenke's name in history. Cheers erupt across the deck, carried away by bitter wind and the groan of machinery, but Shawn's calm voice quickly reins it in. This isn't the finish line. The main vein is still out there. Hands tighten on frozen steel. Eyes return to the sonar. Everyone knows the richest sections remain buried beneath tons of sediment. Momentum drives them forward, but with it comes attention. Government agencies, environmental monitors, and rival operators begin circling, watching every move. Shawn absorbs the pressure with the steady composure of someone accustomed to extreme stakes. His leadership channels adrenaline and tension into disciplined, relentless extraction, an approach that's already reshaping the future of Arctic mining. Then, nature strikes back without warning. A violent Arctic storm rolls in, unleashing a maelstrom of wind, ice, and freezing spray. Dredges strain under the assault. Mooring lines scream under pressure, and for a moment it seems as though weeks of effort could be swallowed by the sea. Shawn moves decisively through the chaos, rallying the crew to erect emergency shields and reinforce anchoring systems against the storm's full force. Tension peaks as hours of gold-rich sediment hang in the balance. Every second becomes a calculated gamble. Fear and awe mix across exhausted faces, muscles straining against cold and responsibility. Through it all, Shawn remains the anchor, methodical, decisive, unshaken. And even as the storm rages overhead, sonar confirms what keeps them going. Untouched sections of the vein still lie intact below, hidden beneath layers of ice and sediment, waiting to be claimed. The message is unmistakable. Fortune is still within reach, but it won't come easily. As the storm fades, the operation snaps back into motion at full speed. New drilling uncovers massive clusters of gold that had previously gone undetected. Formations so dense and rich, they surpass anything the crew has ever encountered. With every extraction, it becomes clearer that this could be the largest haul of Shawn Pomrenke's career. A reward earned through vision, endurance, and bold decision-making. Historians and geologists begin speculating about the origins of the gold, sunken 19th century trade ships, glacial movements that concentrated minerals into hidden pockets, or ancient underwater riverbeds now sealed beneath layers of silt and ice. Every nugget tells a story as compelling as its value. The crew works non-stop, rotating through grueling shifts as they reposition equipment with precision. Lifting, sorting, and securing every ounce before winter, ice seals the site completely. Every choice is intentional, carefully balancing extraction speed with equipment safety. Each maneuver is meticulously recorded. Shawn documents every discovery, size, purity, and exact location, anticipating media scrutiny, historical recognition, and future scientific study. The operation has grown far beyond simple extraction. Early estimates climb toward $120 million, figures that demand serious planning for transport, storage, and security. The vessel's decks move like a carefully choreographed machine. Dredges swing into position, conveyors carry slurry, cranes lift secured crates, all synchronized under Shawn's constant supervision. Icebreakers patrol nearby waters to keep access routes open, while support vessels maintain uninterrupted supply lines for fuel, machinery, and provisions. Crew rotations are optimized to sustain peak performance, but exhaustion is never far away. Temperatures remain brutal, and the Arctic environment tests both physical strength and mental resolve. Every movement carries weight, the chance to claim not just gold, but a lasting legacy. The psychological strain matches the physical toll. Hands grow numb from the cold. Eyes ache from endless hours on sonar screens. Muscles burn from constant labor. Still, the thrill of discovery pushes the crew forward. Each dredge recovery feels like a heartbeat. Every glimmer of gold delivers a surge of triumph. Communication never stops. Sonar, GPS, and drilling data flow continuously, analyzed and acted upon in seconds. Mistakes are not an option. The true scale of the vein reveals itself slowly, teasing the crew with flashes of gold while challenging them with relentless ice and storm-driven currents. Shawn's leadership turns pressure into momentum. His decisive actions transform potential disasters into calculated risks. As media outlets begin broadcasting glimpses of the operation, rival crews watch closely, tracking coordinates and waiting for any misstep. Shawn stays several steps ahead. Dredges are repositioned under cover of darkness. Sonar signatures are masked. Equipment is relocated to protect the advantage. The Arctic becomes both battlefield and stage, where every measured move keeps the whole firmly under their control. The crew, inspired and uneasy, adapts to the pace. They become extensions of the plan itself. Hands, eyes, and instincts aligned with Shawn's vision. Every dredge lift, every slurry transfer, every carefully logged measurement doesn't just secure gold. It reinforces control over both the environment and the opportunity. As hours stretch into days, the richness of the vein becomes undeniable. Sonar mapping reveals the outlines of enormous gold clusters, and with each scoop of sediment, the fragments pulled up grow larger and purer. The crew moves with near mechanical precision, coordinating lifts, sorting material, and securing temporary storage. Their movements form a tense rhythm, driven by necessity and instinct. Shawn monitors everything, not just the extraction itself, but the condition of his crew, the integrity of the equipment, and the ever-present threat of the Arctic environment. Early totals already confirm an $85 million haul, yet the richest sections remain buried beneath thick layers of silt and ice. These deeper deposits loom like a challenge, pushing both people and machinery to their limits. Extended dives become routine. Dredges groan under reinforced plating and frozen sediment, and with every lift, the risk of catastrophic equipment failure grows. Fatigue wears down muscles and nerves. Eyes glaze over from endless sonar scans. Fingers stiffen from the cold. Backs ache under constant strain. Shawn rotates teams with purpose, maintaining focus while recalibrating dredges to respond to sudden sediment shifts and massive underwater slides that threaten the main vein. Contingency plans roll out seamlessly. Ice fractures are monitored, wildlife movement tracked, and emergency anchoring systems deployed without hesitation. At the center of it all, Shawn personally directs the most dangerous extractions, issuing commands, fine-tuning machinery, and turning a volatile, frozen seascape into a controlled, high-stakes operation. Every action is calculated, yet the immense scale of the vein presents new challenges at every turn. Sediment density changes without warning, requiring constant adjustments to avoid overloading equipment or triggering collapse. Communication is non-stop. Crew members coordinate lift angles and extraction pressure with the precision of a surgical team working in Arctic darkness. Shawn remains hands-on and meticulous, fully aware that a single mistake could undo weeks of progress. Hours blur into days, but the crew sustains an almost superhuman level of focus, fueled by adrenaline and the unmistakable shimmer of gold visible through slurry and ice. Tension hangs in the air, an invisible force that sharpens instincts, heightens awareness, and turns exhausting labor into a high-risk performance. Then, after weeks of relentless work, confirmation finally arrives. The total haul reaches $150 million, a staggering figure that obliterates every previous record in Arctic gold mining. The crew erupts in disbelief, joy, and exhaustion. Cheers cut through the frozen air as dredges continue to hum, still pulling fragments from a deposit that has now entered history. Media outlets flood the world with images of gleaming gold and the worn, triumphant faces of the men and women who risked everything to claim it. Shawn Pomrenke emerges as an international icon, his name now synonymous with audacity, vision, and unmatched skill in Arctic mining. Analysts, rivals, and longtime skeptics are forced to acknowledge the scale of what's been achieved. The sheer volume and purity of gold recovered in these waters is unprecedented, redefining what's possible in extreme mining environments. Every machine deployed, every calculated risk, and every extraction plan executed under Shawn's leadership is now fully validated. But the success goes beyond numbers. The crew's unity and trust reach new heights, forged through shared danger, relentless effort, and an achievement that will be remembered for generations. Stories of endurance, split-second improvisation, and unbreakable teamwork quickly become legend within Arctic mining circles. The expedition's narrative, equal parts survival and triumph, is etched into industry history. Even as celebrations continue, Shawn keeps his focus grounded. Environmental monitoring remains a top priority. Every extraction site is carefully documented, ecosystem impacts are analyzed, and safeguards are implemented to protect the fragile Arctic waters for future research and safe operations. This haul, monumental as it is, represents far more than profit. It stands as a statement of responsibility and foresight, a model for balancing ambition with stewardship. Industry analysts immediately recognize its transformative effect on the gold market, predicting sustained global attention as the Bering Sea operation dominates headlines for months, if not years. Competitors are forced to rethink their strategies, closely studying Shawn's approach to risk management, engineering innovation, and tactical extraction under extreme conditions. Techniques refined during this expedition, reinforced dredging platforms, extended deep water extraction, nighttime equipment relocation, and strategic rotation of mining zones, quickly become case studies for Arctic operations around the world. Shawn's leadership style, defined by hands-on oversight, trust in his crew, and unwavering precision, sets a new benchmark for future expeditions. And even with a historic haul secured, his vision reaches beyond a single discovery. Conversations turn to unexplored territory farther north, sections of the Bering Sea that may hold deposits equal to, or even greater than, what's already been found. The crew, bonded through weeks of extreme hardship and shared victory, remains fully committed. They understand this achievement is not only a record, but a foundation for what comes next. Every dredge lift, sonar reading, and punishing shift has prepared them for future challenges. The Arctic, unforgiving as it is, has become the stage for their ambition. Shawn's plans for continued exploration suggest that this legendary strike may only mark the beginning. The final recovery secures more than wealth. It cements a legacy. Every nugget and every ounce of high-purity gold is carefully logged, safeguarded, and accounted for. The operation is executed with a level of precision that will be referenced for decades. Media coverage continues, focusing not just on the staggering value, but on the bold vision, extreme conditions, and leadership required to succeed where few dared to venture. Competitors and skeptics alike watch with a mix of awe and envy, recognizing that a new standard has been set for what's possible in the Bering Sea and beyond. The scale of the extraction, combined with unprecedented purity, elevates a single expedition into a historic benchmark. As crews prepare to secure final shipments and demobilize equipment, the Arctic itself seems to exhale, its frozen waters reflecting the magnitude of what was achieved beneath the surface. Shawn's meticulous oversight ensures that no ounce is lost, no risk overlooked, and no opportunity wasted. The lessons learned, engineering innovations, strategic planning, and environmental safeguards will shape every future venture into extreme mining environments. This expedition proves that when preparation meets audacity, even the most inhospitable regions on Earth can yield extraordinary rewards. The $150 million haul is more than a record, it's a declaration. Arctic mining, once viewed as a high-risk gamble with limited reward, has been transformed into a realm of real possibility, reshaped by Shawn Pomrenke's bold vision and precise execution. The bonds forged among the crew through ice, storms, and relentless labor are unbreakable, standing as proof of what extreme teamwork can achieve under pressure. Historians and industry experts will point to this expedition as a defining benchmark for innovation, perseverance, and leadership. Strict environmental safeguards, detailed documentation, and careful strategic planning ensure the site will be preserved, studied, and respected long after the gold is secured. Even while marking this monumental achievement, Shawn hints at new exploration targets, making it clear that the Bering Sea chapter is far from finished, and that even greater discoveries may lie beyond the frozen horizon. The legacy of the operation is firmly set. A powerful blend of daring risk-taking, disciplined planning, and human endurance has redefined what Arctic mining can be. Every ounce recovered, every strategy executed, and every obstacle overcome adds to a story that will inspire miners, explorers, and adventurers for generations. The frozen waters of the Bering Sea have finally revealed their riches. And through Shawn Pomrenke's leadership and vision, the world has seen what determination, skill, and ambition can accomplish when tested against one of the harshest environments on Earth.